All right, listen. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about um, something that's really important when it comes to final expense telesales, and that is what I call final expense telesales suicide. So, a lot of you guys are buying leads to sell final expense insurance over the telephone, and when you're calling them, you're doing something that is causing you to get hung up on or not allow you to get into a presentation. And I call it final expense telesales suicide. And that is when a customer shares a concern with you up front in the process. For instance, they may say something to you like, Vince, I can't afford anything right now. Or, Vince, how much is this going to cost me? I don't know if I can afford it. Or, can you just mail this out to me in the mail? Okay. You're literally, maybe one sentence into your introduction and they're already throwing up concerns like, can you just mail me out the information? How much is it going to cost me? I can't afford it. I don't have a lot of time right now. So, you're getting these concerns and you're treating them almost like they're objections, okay? And all they really are up front in the call are simple concerns. So you want to make sure that you're not treating these things like objections and then validating these objections right up front in the call. Hey, Mike, how you doing? So I'm streaming on both Facebook and on YouTube. That's why if I'm not looking at one of the cameras, I'm looking at the other. What we're talking about today is what I call final expense telesales suicide. And that's when you address a customer's concerns up front in the call as an objection. So, as I was saying, many of you are using Facebook leads, or you're buying leads, or you're getting live transfers, and then a customer is immediately telling you, hey, listen, I can't afford it, or can you just send it out to me in the mail, or how much longer is this going to take? I'm busy. You're getting all kinds of upfront objections. And what I see so many agents doing that are new to selling on the phone is I see them addressing those concerns or validating those concerns. And that is literal suicide. You will lose the call. You will get hung up on. And here's the reason why, okay? If a customer says to you, listen, I can't afford anything, okay? You're in the process and you say, hey, this is Vince from over here at Senior Benefits, and I'm calling you back because you had recently inquired online regarding the 2018 state-approved final expense plans that you may qualify for here in Texas. Now, Mike, are you still a resident of Texas? And the customer says yes, okay? Or the prospect says yes. And then they come out and say, but I really can't afford anything right now, okay? They come out and they give you that concern. Now, what most agents do in this case is they say, well, this is a very affordable plan, and, I don't know what you can afford yet. We don't know if you can even qualify. And they start addressing this concern of the customers about affordability. Or the customer may say, yeah, I responded and I want some information. Just send me out the information in the mail. And then the agent, the amateur agent, or the agent that doesn't understand telesales, then goes ahead and commits telesales suicide by saying, well, I'd love to mail out something to you in the mail, but I don't know if you qualify yet, and yada, yada, yada. We got to first see if you can qualify. And, they come up with all these fancy things to say, and the customer is not trying to hear that. Now, I know that the agent isn't necessarily being on purpose being confrontational, but that's how the customer perceives what you're saying. They're saying, mail it out to me in the mail. You're saying, I can't do that. I got to see if you can qualify, right? They're saying, I can't afford anything. You're trying to convince them that, that these plans are affordable and that you're going to find them something affordable and all that kind of stuff. And they're not trying to hear that. This is what I call final expense telesales suicide, and it's the fastest way to go out of business. And this is the reason why so many agents struggle to even get any traction in final expense telesales. It's because they can't even get into a presentation. So I'm going to give you a couple solutions without going into too much detail here. If you want to know more, or if you want to get fully trained on this, you'll have to either get with me or become part of our organization or get on the Final Expense Televersity. And there's all kinds of training modules on what I'm about to touch on here, okay? But in a nutshell, what you're going to be doing here, when a customer says up front in a call that they can't afford it, or that that they want you to mail something out to them in the mail, or that they're busy right now, or how much longer is this going to take, any type of potential concern, okay, you're going to use what I call alpha call control, all right? And instead of addressing or validating their concern, you're going to use a simple alpha call control statement and then pivot back to your script without pausing. Okay, that's critical. You're going to use one of these statements that I'm going to talk about here. I'm not going to give you them all, but I'm going to give you a few of them. And then you're going to literally... Did I stop? No, it's good. All right. So here we go. The key is you can't address the customer's concern, okay, until their guard is down. Okay? Think about this. Customer says, I can't afford it. You don't want to start addressing that concern because you got to wait until you get that customer's guard down. You got to get them to the warm-up section of the process, okay? You got to get the customer's guard down. You got to make a friend. That concern of about affordability or time or mail it out to me in the mail, that may not even be a valid concern. So we're going to use a call control statement. So the customer says to you, hey, Vince, listen, I can't afford anything. You're simply going to say to that customer, you know what, thank you for sharing that with me. This is just an informational call. And then pivot right back to your script. Okay? And if that comes up again, you're going to do it again. So if the customer says, yeah, but Vince, listen, I really can't afford anything. Listen, I understand. It's okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. This is just an informational call, and pivot back to the script. Okay? Customer says to you, listen, Vince, listen, I'm busy right now. Thank you for sharing that with me. This shouldn't take very